Rebels, today, FOMC, ACHR, AppLovin soars over 50%, Geo keeps running, and UOA, a lot more. Stick around. Rebels, welcome to the Rebels Edge. I know it's the FOMC day. It's an important day. You wanted John, you wanted Mark, you wanted Pete. You got me. I'm going to make it worth your while. Trust me. Stick around to the end, and we're going to talk about a trade idea that they keep hitting. I am Justin. I am the analyst behind 3 at 3 Pro. I write the Rebel Roundup. I have been at Market Rebellion for a very long time, and now I'm doing a solo on Rebels Edge. Look at how things go. Now, today, our macro minute, very, very simple, the FOMC. We keep it really, really easy. They're going to probably cut 25 basis points. It's essentially set in stone. What people more care about is how they view the dot plot now that we have this election change in view. A lot of people are looking at the 10-year, which has been rising for weeks and weeks, and saying maybe Donald Trump's tariff policies and his immigration policies might boost inflation, and that might cause the Fed to scale back. However, the Fed has said they're going to be apolitical, and the last jobs report that we got, which would be their last time to be very data dependent, was 12,000 versus 100,000 jobs expected. So which side will they go? And what will the market think? That's what we're going to be watching at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's your macro minute. For the futures, by the way, you have VIX down over 20% in the past 2 days. John and Mark already talked to you yesterday about the UOA that we had seen in 92,000 of those 15 by 1350 put spreads in the VIX. Those have now more than doubled, or at least they had reached a double at some point. I'm not in front of it right now. I can't tell you if they've doubled right now, but they're doing really well. The VIX is down at about 15. And if the FOMC goes swimmingly, a lot of those people who had bought VIX hedges are probably going to feel some pain. They're probably going to sell those because there's really no more negative catalysts in front of us to worry about. And that means that those hedges could continue to perform well. That VIX put UOA could continue to rip. Here's another thing that we picked up on our UOA that has been absolutely ripping. It's a stock we've talked about before. It's AppLovin, ticker symbol APP. This stock is up over 45% today. In 3 at 3 Pro, we do something called the OTM long shot. Often we try to take options that we see in the UOA at the money. That means if the stock is a 160, we're going to buy the 160 call or something close to it. That ups our probability. But occasionally we spot something that's moving up so fast, so consistently, and that the smart money is buying very, very far out of the money. And we decide, let's run directly with that. That's what we did in AppLovin. We bought the 250 strike calls out in January for about $2. Those are now up over 14. That's a solid 7x win. We took profit on that. That's, if you were in that, probably what you should consider doing too. Another stock that has just ripped abnormally high is Geo. This is a private prison and detention center stock. Doesn't take a lot of thinking to determine why this would rip on a Trump presidency. That's not me being political. Truth be told, I am shamelessly apathetic about politics. I only care about which narrative is going to help me trade better. And right now it is that private prisons are probably going to do better under a Trump presidency. I didn't say it. The stock market said it. It was up 42% yesterday. We had 5 pieces of UOA leading into that. We took UOA in 3 at 3 Pro leading into that. We rolled it up. Guess what? It's up again today. I think it's up about 13%, 11%, something like that. OTM spreads that we had rolled to yesterday are now in the money. They've more than doubled. That is what we like to see in UOA. Pete has said it before. I think we've all said it before. Every year, the UOA seems to get better and better and better as these smart money traders start to care less and less and less about being caught. Feels like if they get caught, they might just get maybe a slap on the wrist and some of the profit that they made taken away. Usually worth the trade for them. Next thing that we're talking about is Oklo, OKLO. It's an SMR stock. This is Sam Altman from ChatGPT's baby. He started this stock. It IPO'd. It fell. And ever since it's been $6, we've been spotting UOA hit after UOA hit after UOA hit in this name over and over and over again. And now it is at $25 as we get more news that the U.S. Department of Energy has signed off on an Oklo fuel fabrication facility design concept. That's a lot of big words. It's more big words than I'm used to saying. But the short version is they're rallying. They're at $25 now. Last I looked, we have active UOA in multiple positions inside many of our UOA services, including 3 at 3. I know Mark has told you about this. John has told you about this. SMRs are essentially the counter to Constellation Energy's big nuclear plant. You don't have to know what it is. All you have to know is that the smart money is deep in on this, and they do not look to be stopping. If I were you, I can't tell you what to do. I would consider finding a way to be long Oklo, especially on some type of pullback that they might have. The next and second to last thing that I'm going to tell you about is ACHR. ACHR is up big today, but this isn't the end of the story for ACHR. So they just struck a deal with a Japanese airline. This is an electric air taxi deal. If you know Joby, then you probably know ACHR. They're basically the same type of company. They're doing the same thing, right? And in Japan, this makes a whole lot of sense because Tokyo, which is the most populous city in the world, has horrible traffic, and it is a great place to test out this method of completely avoiding traffic without having to lean on something like a helicopter, right? This is smaller than a helicopter. It's maybe a bit bigger than a car, and it is honestly kind of awesome outside of the stock market perspective. I would love to ride in one. Regardless, here's the cool part. So we've seen UOA in ACHR. That UOA is still active. It was in the 4 strike. I believe it was targeted somewhere in the next 2 months. I don't have that information directly on hand, but it was cheap. This is with the stock trading at $3. Now they're at around $3.40, $3.50. Some people were asking me, should we sell this? I can't tell you what to do. You've heard me say that a few times, but I can tell you that in 3 at 3 Pro, what we're doing is waiting for tonight because they're about to report earnings. If I were the CEO of ACHR and I had just struck a deal right before I reported earnings that was very big, and I'm a very small stock, I'm about to go into earnings and blow the doors off. I'm going to go in there. I'm not an AI name. I'm saying the word AI. I'm doing everything I can to boost this name because this is a big deal for me. This is a big deal for ACHR. I would be holding this. Here's our little prayer circle for ACHR that we're having. Now, last thing that I'm going to tell you, we teased a piece of UOA. I don't know if I'm supposed to do this, but I like you all, and I wanted you to stick around to the end of this episode. So I'm going to tell you that in Nvidia, this is got to be the most Nvidia UOA that we've ever spotted before in earnings, at least in my time at this company. It's a lot. It's hundreds of thousands of contracts over and over and over again. They're still active. They're active all the way out in the 180 strikes, all the way out in March. And they bought them before, and they're still holding them, and they're still up. It doesn't matter. They're adding today. They added to NVDL today, and then they came back in. NVDL, by the way, that's the leveraged Nvidia ETF, essentially. If you're going to get it, don't get options in that. Get NVDA. That's what they picked up as well. They picked it up in size. They grabbed 6,500 of the week after earnings, or I suppose 2 weeks after earnings, December 6th, 145 strike calls. This is a bold bet that Nvidia is going to come out, and yet again, as they have done so many times, they're going to say, we are still the top dog. We are the biggest stock in the market right now by market cap, and we're going to continue building on that lead. We're going to beat, we're going to raise. That's what it will take for Nvidia to go up. Make no mistake, they cannot just match. They cannot just beat and then leave guidance the same. We learned that from AMD. They need to come in and say, you liked us before, you're going to like us even better now. The smart money thinks they have the ability to do that. If you were following this, you would also consider being long Nvidia call options. Now, I'm going to keep this nice and short. That's what we got today. If you want to hear more from me, if you want to get the wrap up of the FOMC, if you want to hear more UOA from time to time, and all the news and all the trading strategies that I talk about every day, go Google the Rebel Roundup. I don't have the ad for you right now, but you can find it. Get 90 days free. If you're already signed up, just keep reading it. I hope you all have a great day, a safe day. Go watch the FOMC. Trade with discipline. Have a great night, Rebels.